So let me introduce Mr. Sorojit Devakshi. He's my classmate. So Sorojit, you wrote GRE exam this time.
Yes.
So can you share some of your experience with our audience
Yes.
about the GRE exam? How did you prepare for the GRE exam, and what are the basic requirements for the exam, and how did you manage the time of your academic study beside that you prepare for GRE? So can you explain this?
Okay. So basically, GRE exam is very typical for getting chance for graduate admissions in USA, and this everybody has to pass this exam. Not there. Basically, there is no cutoff limit, but you have to get a reasonable marks for that.
Okay.
Reasonable marks is in general greater than 300 acceptable.
Okay.
It is if it is greater than 320, this is quite excellent. But thing is that most of us are from Bengali medium background, and very less number of people are from English medium background who are pursuing this kind of that is masters in our batch, I can say. Okay. At least. So problem is that we are not accustomed to this kind of literature or the bookish knowledge or the kind of literary works, prose, poem, etc. from the very beginning. But the English medium people are very much exposed to this kind of literary items. So they know the proper meaning of the words. They are very much enriched with vocabulary because they often go through this, and this is very habitual for them. Okay. But this is not that much accustomed we are with those topics. So first of all, it is quite difficult because we have to memorize a lot of words. We have to memorize a lot of words. Basically, around seniors say that around 2000 word is sufficient to write this exam. But
so we have they have to just mark up all the words.
Yes, basically there should have some process like if you know the synonym. Suppose if you have a word, you know the exact synonym, write the English word for the exact synonym. Okay. That means you can enrich vocabulary in that way. That is, for a single word, you can get another 3 or 4 synonymous words. Okay. In this way, you can enrich your vocabulary and practice it for. Suppose you collect 10 words per day. Okay. And then at the end of the week, you are getting around 70 words. So before the starting of the new week, you just read all those words once again. And what you feel important, like the high frequency word, you just make a list in the wall. Okay. Whenever you are going to sleep,
so
or
practice
whatever,
is very important.
Practice is very
They have to
important.
practice throughout
Throughout the procedure. Yeah.
So what is the means what is the peak time that one should start for GRE? So okay. We have generally 2 year of MSc. So yes. When is the most fertile time that we should start our GRE preparation?
Yes, basically the fertile, now we are very much engaged with the semester pressure. A lot of courses are there, so students should not think much about this. But at the end of the second semester, when the vacations start for around 2.5 months, this is the best time to prepare for all these exams, because there you will get enough time. If you are working in lab, when you come back at night, you can go through at least 10 or 15 words, write those in the copy and mark it up. And also at the end of the week, you just go through once again, and this will automatically remembered.
So let's suppose someone get 310 in GRE exam. Yes. So what is the probability that he can get a good university?
Basically, it is not the sole determining factor. The single criteria is not sufficient to qualify all your appointment to certain university, because it is seen as a whole package, like GRE, TOEFL, all the exams. At the same time, CPI also there, the 3 letters of recommendation, your CV, your research proposal. So all things is seen in combination.
So suppose a student from who is not from IIT,
yes,
from any other institute, yes. Or so let's say he has scored 320 in GRE. So what is his chance for getting a good university?
The thing is that the recommendation matters. So basically, the IIT professors, basically the institute is very much well known to the US, the IIT Bombay, and other IITs also. But thing is that the other institutes are also good, but they are not well known to those people who are sitting over there. That's why this in that case the background matters to some extent. So, but if he scores, suppose very good in GRE TOEFL, but then he has a reasonable chance.
So thank you very much for your for sharing this experience. Now finally, if you want to give some tips for the students who are preparing for GRE exam.
Yes. So basically, what I have followed, I will also suggest. What I have followed, I would also suggest to my juniors that you just don't be very much scared of this. That is, you should not very much afraid of this exam. Just try for the some time. For you just begin. by looking at some books available in the market like Byron's high frequency GRE book or the ETS book. So from those you can collect the words and you start writing those in a paper. And for a single day you can collect as much as possible you can do. So around 10 to 15 words per day, and if you memorize all those, this make a very strong vocabulary. And that much we can do. And now at the very beginning of the exam, suppose when we have only 1 month in our hand before the exam, then he should practice some mock test. It is very much helpful.
Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
this interview. Hope our audience will be helpful by watching this interview. Thank you.
Thank you.